and we as well are interested in any type of sector. So it's basically it. That's it about us.
All right, I got you. Well, that's perfect. Thank you very much for this. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, I'm also receiving some type of the requests from the YouTube channel. If I'm seeing yes, everything is okay. So sorry. Yes, sorry. Okay. Let me see who is next. Okay, so we've got Aton Federer from the Flashpoint Venture Capital. This is our last investor for today. So Aton, please introduce yourself to us. And well, I'm personally glad to see you as well. So we've got two Antons in the studio today. Something is telling me that the day is going to go amazing. So hi, Aton, how are you doing?
Hi, you can make a wish now. So Flashpoint is an alternative asset manager. We are residing across UK, Israel, Eastern Europe, Baltics, and Russia. Have 7 offices and investing from late seed to post round B across multiple products. I focus on early stage equity, but we also have a venture debt and a secondary team that run their own funds. We are pretty generalist fund, so we invested into B2B SaaS, marketplaces, anything that pretty much moves and found its commercial, entered its commercial phase. So starting from 10, 20, 30K a monthly revenue, would be keen to talk to you and explore how we can be of an assist.
All right, got you. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Just with your permission as well, I'll rather start as well the recording, so that will be, also that part in case we have any difficulties with transmission on YouTube. We will be using the, just a regular methodology, just a regular type of stuff. So I don't think that'll be any problem. In terms of our next steps, what I'd like you to do right now is that since we already introduced each other, since we already know what's going on, I want to make sure that now we are giving a chance to each startup to start promoting themselves, to start pitching themselves, pitching their project. And what's most important, I'm just repeating one more time to everyone. Guys, you have 2 minutes maximum. Unfortunately, I will have to cut you off in case we are, exceeding the time limit. So please bear this in mind. With the rest, I think that we are perfectly good to go. Wish you best of luck. And the first speaker that we are welcoming on our virtual stage is Olga Kuzmina. She is the Director of Marketing and Growth of the project called Zelf. The project is from Latvia. So Olga, pleasure to meet you. How are you doing? Please, the time is all yours. As soon as you start, I'll use the timer in order to keep the track of the time.
Hello, thank you for the introduction. Hi everyone, my name is Olga and I'm from Zelf. So Zelf is a messenger first neobank for Gen Z. And we launched our pre-order campaign on April 9th. And since then we got 350,000 card pre-orders in our system. So what we do, we don't have any plastic, we don't have any app, and our users control money from the messenger of their choice. So we say that we provide the fastest onboarding to financial services to date. So to become a Zelf customer, it takes under 30 seconds. What I have to do is just find Zelf chatbot in any messenger that I already use, share my name and phone number, verify my phone number, and get the virtual card that I can add to Apple Pay or Google Pay, and I'm good to go. Also, Zelf understands voice commands, which is a very, very natural interaction in Gen Z's customers. And why we done this? Because almost 85% of screen time that Gen Z millennials, or all younger generation that spend, are in 5 apps, and mostly social media apps. So this is why we decided to make the banking contextual and to give users opportunity to control their money and do financial operations within the context of their messengers, within the context of their conversations with friends, with their followers, with whatever you do. Like if you're a streamer on Twitch or YouTube, you can share your link and get paid fast for whatever you do. So with no app support, with no delivery cost, we try to minimize the customer acquisition cost. And
unfortunately, I'll have to stop you here. Terribly sorry for this. Terribly sorry for this.
Okay.
We have just reached the 2-minute mark. So please, now it's time for our investors and for other participants, in case they have questions, to ask Olga some questions. So please, I'll start making the introductions with the investors as well. I'll be naming whoever goes first with the order. So Anton, please, could you start first with your questions in case you have any?
Sure. So what's the monetization strategy here if you guys don't own the plastic? So there are no kind of sign up fees, I suppose.
Yeah, our monetization comes from interchange fees and premium account fees, because we have 3 plans. The first plan is basic plan, which is free, that allows you to have a card to top it up with IBAN and to use it online and offline. And we provide premium, pro, and patron accounts, which are paid ones. And later this year, we will introduce loans and invoices for freelance customers that also go in pro account.
And what is the bank that you are running this infrastructure upon? So
yeah,
it's virtual accounts, basically, right?
Yeah, we partner with Trésor, which is a subsidiary of Société Générale, to launch Zelf in Europe. And our first countries that we have launched are France and Spain. And later, I think in autumn, we will introduce Zelf to we will send cards to users in other countries in SEPA region.
Mm-hmm. And my last question is on the front of as the world becomes kind of more regulatorily and compliant. So what do you ask for your KYC kind of like prerequisites? Because in many cases that's starting to become more and more difficult, especially outside of EU zone.
Sure. The best part of Zelf onboarding process is that we don't ask we don't ask you to verify yourself since the beginning. So first we give you the virtual card that does not require you to verify yourself, and you have 150 euro limit of spend. But if you want to expand this limit, then you can verify yourself with photo ID, with proof of address, and any SEPA transfer to your account from your any other bank account, and you're good to go. You have no limits. I mean, no minimum, no maximum spend of 150 euro. Mm-hmm. So we're fully compliant with regulatory requirements that also Société Générale is imposing on us. But we designed the onboarding the way that we can, we have a very, very, very big funnel of customers coming to us without needing to do the KYC. Then, so it's going very smoothly from the customer acquisition point of view. You're becoming our customer, you start transacting with us, and but we do not pay for your KYC account. And when you are becoming a more active customer with transaction activity expanding 150 euro per month, you can go through KYC. And what's more interesting, that you got as a customer, you get a bonus for every step of this process. Why we got 350,000 card pre-orders in just 2.5 months without any marketing spend is the referral program that we designed. So when you become our customer, you get 5 euro like a pending bonus balance. And then when you get the card, when you activate the card, when you make first top up, when you do the KYC, you are rewarded for each and every step. So this customer loyalty program, it works on the whole cycle of customer journey to minimize the initial customer acquisition cost, but maximize the cost of active customer with active account, fully KYC'd and verified. I hope it makes sense.
Understood. Thank you so much. I'll let my colleagues kind of continue.
Okay, thank you, Anton. So, Roma, do you have any questions?
Yeah, so I have a couple of questions. So from the answers that that you mentioned, so in terms of targeting, what type of pain point you are targeting to solve, you know, for this Generation Z type of customer, because you have different type of applications, you know, TransferWise and all different very similar ones to share, you know, to split the payment, to easily to send a very small amount of money in between friends, etc. So in terms of the sending link at I don't know, through WhatsApp or through whatever chat you have, is what type of problem exactly saves and how it differentiates you know, with other type of solutions?
Yeah, well, first of all, that's the speed and the ease how you can get paid around the web. So if you're a streamer, like we tapped into all new activities and I'd say side hustles that young people are involved right now. They are streaming, like our primary audience that we started with are gamers. And this is why we have this black design and we have community in Discord. So we're very like targeted this group. And when you're a streamer and you want to get donations from your streaming channel, you can just put the link, Zelf link, under your stream and get paid fast. And we actually saw this already. One Spanish Fortnite influencer put his link, referral link, under under his video. So it works like get paid fast. This is one of the main use cases around the web. The second use case is that young people, they are very active users of P2P services and digital wallets. They're actually on the front line of adoption of these technologies. And we decided to, let's say, unite the convenience of digital wallets with classic financial rails like IBAN and MasterCard, that you can get your MasterCard, but at the same time, the ease and convenience with which you can send money to your friends, to your family, get paid for your services, it's the same as TransferWise or PayPal or WeChat. So we tried to make a hybrid product that serves better to the needs of these new customers that live in the internet, create content and want to get paid for this content, but at the same time taking the best from the classical financial rails of classical banking products and neobanks.
Okay, and just another question, just a very quick one as well. How you tackled, for example, the fraud, you know, problem within your sort of payment system? You know, do you have any sort of, because you are quite as interested to have a KYC and you know, sort of reveal your identity after you have some more than 150 euros amount for, so more than 150 euros for the transactions. So this is the sort of you know, the line, you know, where you have to cross or something, 150 euros that you have to do KYC, and behind that you don't need actually do any type, you don't tackle any type of fraud, because it's that these are the very small amounts.
According to the regulations that we strictly follow, we yes, we do have this limit with which is the major tool to stop the fraud activity, and is legally approved within the European Union. And we have procedures verified and tested with Trezor, our partner in banking as a service, that we meet certain requirements that they in their turn have from Société Générale. So
Okay.
this is that we went through AML and KYC audit with this company.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies. So I'm hearing I'd like to hear the last investor to this round of questions. Oliver, do you have any questions?
Yeah, just a couple. How many currencies can you transact? Like if I'm going from Euro to Korean won, like can you just do that instantly, and what are the fees based upon that?
Currently, we target European Union, and we work with Eurozone. So for foreign currency fees, it will imply some fees, but I would say in the amount that is acceptable within like average neobank range.
Right. Okay. So currently it's only available in the EU, right? You'll have to abide by regulations in Korea, Hong Kong, Japan, etc. to expand to those areas, or you can do it without regulatory approval because you're not a bank. How does that work?
Well, we need to have the local partner to build our fintech on top, but our primary goal for the next year is to obtain our own electronic money license. So for now, we operate on Société Générale electronic money license. That's why we cannot simply go to Southeast Asia, but we have a lot of interest from Philippines and India particularly. And we already have some conversation with local financial institutions there. And so in order to be there, we need to have a local partner. Right. And also we pay attention to the penetration of digital wallets in the country. For example, in Philippines, it's still Apple Pay is not there yet. So it also makes like we follow very closely the penetration of the technologies that we use in our solutions. So it also determines the our global expansion. But the ambition overall is to go global and to become the WeChat of like as simple payment solution as WeChat, but globally and working cross messenger. I would say like PayPal for 2020 when we don't use mail for day-to-day and like conversation, but we would rather use the messengers.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Okay. So in case no one else has any questions from the participants, am I missing anyone from the audience? Maybe someone would like to ask any questions from our startuppers. Okay, so with that being said, then I'd like to introduce you to our next project, next startup. The project's name is Prodigy. So I'd like to introduce you to our founder of the project, Stano Hijazi. The project is from Italy. So Stano, hi, how are you doing? And
thanks very much.
If you're ready,
yes.
Time is all yours. You got 2 minutes.
Go with the timer. Go with the timer. We'll be very fast.
Let's go.
Okay. First of all, thanks very much for this opportunity. And my name is Sano, and we are from a startup from Italy. We are focused on developing a fintech solution for small business companies. Actually, after lockdown, we found out that a lot of companies here in Italy are asking for loans to get cash to restart. But the idea is that this cash, if it's not managed well, will end to be a debit for these companies, for these small business companies. So we developed a platform that supports them in accessing the cash, and same time manage this cash in well way so they can build a restarting process and a lot of restarting roadmap. So this debit don't kill them, but transform the debit in a winning situation where after 1 year or 2 years they come back to their revenue and make it better. How we do it? By doing different steps. First step is financial consulting, then management sub-consulting, then marketing consulting, sales consulting, and technology consulting. So we make different steps to transform the company from a debit situation to a winning situation. More or less, this is what we do here in Italy. We are now actually have different customers in different sectors, from tourism to, let's say, retail, from e-commerce to private, any kind. And we are now trying to expand this model to other countries.
Perfect, perfect.
How fast I was?
1 minute and 35 seconds. If you have anything else, you have a good time.
Perfect.
Perfect. So that was great. That was great, Sano. Very appreciate it. Thank you very much for that. So I would like to start with Roma. If you have any questions to Sano, please feel free to ask.
Yeah, sure. I was thinking about my first question was that maybe I didn't understood, sort of your service or product. So in terms of the mention you're offering sort of help this for the company, small, medium enterprises, and doing sort of consultancy type of businesses. So how scalable is that? What type of, techniques or technology you utilize, in order to analyze, the company status and help them to sort of overcome this issue that you're mentioning?
Okay, it's incredibly scalable because it depends on, first of all, the business model, our business model. We can scale fast or not. Most of these services can be made by our partners. Our first partner is the bank, for example. We are in Italy. In Italy, we have 2 banks that are very fast banks that are helping us in getting the loans and getting the cash. Okay, so our first partner is the bank. Our second partner can be our financial consulting, because our core system is innovation technology and fintech. We need a partner that we can need also a partner that support us in financial consulting. So if we want to extend our model to a different country, will be extremely easy, because all we need to find is, first of all, a bank that can support us in injecting the cash, and also an accountant professionals that can support us in our, let's say, in the country financial system, and because every country have different impact in managing the finance of the company. So we need someone that are expert in this kind of sector. And after that, we are the people that are expert in sales, in marketing, in technology, and this will complete all the solution.
Okay, and in terms of go-to-market strategy, sort of, and because so in which countries you are present now, and which countries you are looking towards?
First of all, because we start in Italy, because we know perfectly Italian market. We have also all our networks and partners in Italy, so we start here in Italy. We are thinking we was happy to be selected in this in InnMind, because we thought that also Spanish market will be very interesting market for this, and I hope it will be a good choice for us.
Yeah, great. That makes sense. Surely makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to ask Oliver for his feedback. In case you have any questions, please, you're free to ask.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not fully understanding of like the value add versus competitors. Like, from what I'm gathered, it's like you're giving companies that are not currently been able to keep up with the rate of expansion or growth in technology, you're providing that service for them. If these companies are like medium and large size companies, surely they would have an internal team that can do that anyway, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But this solution is not dedicated for middle big companies, because middle big companies, they already have partnership with banks, they already have partnership with different financial consulting services. So we are focused on small business companies. This solution is for small business companies. These companies right now, they have, what it happened is that right now banks will give cash to small business companies. Okay, but small business companies don't have the skill, financial skill and management skill to use this cash in right way. So what will happen is that after 1 year or 2 years, a high percentage of these small business companies will fail because they will end to have just a debit because they will not use this cash, this loan in right way. What we will do is supporting them in 360-degree from financial consulting services to marketing, from sales to technology. So we can provide them a very stable growth and business plan and roadmap to get back with what they lost with the coronavirus, and also make a plan to make new revenue and new business model. I will give you an example so you get a better overview. We have a customer in Italy that they are a big hotel here in Italy. Okay, what had happened that they was closed for 3 months. This cut off like half of their revenue. Okay, what we did is that first of all we helped them to get cash. Second, we create for them a business model that from now to next 3 years, first they will get back what they lost. Second, they will create a new sales model so the revenue can be not based on reservation, but also on different business models. So we innovate them. We introduce a new kind of business model in their structure, in their way of business, and this create a business plan that say, okay, after 3 years they will close the loan, they will get back with revenue and will be more stable than now. And can also face a new lockdown, for example.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. Now we are only missing Anton to hear his questions. Anton, if you have any questions, you're welcome.
Yeah, my question is more on like the problem with working with smaller companies is repeatability and the churn rate usually. So how do you make sure that you guys
Sorry, I didn't understand the first part of the question. The problem is
the repeatability of the service. So there's a lot of churn while working with smaller companies. So what do
you mean by repeatability of service? Sorry, what do you mean by repairability of service?
Well, most small, medium businesses, they churn after a couple of years. So how do you make sure that that there is a strong, repeatable sales here?
Repeatable sales. What I mean, I'm not getting the question. What? Give me an example. I'm sorry, but really, I'm not getting the question. What do you mean by repeatable sales of small business companies?
In the context, so the monetization strategy for the services is a subscription wise or maybe
okay, sorry. Now I get it. Sorry, no, it depends on the market and the type of the company. Okay, for example, in this one that have a big hotel, we create for them a model that they resell services of local artisans that are around the hotel. So we create like a networking business around the hotel because we have a partner that do this stuff here in Italy, and we create for them a business model that where they not only sell the rooms and the hotel services, but also, for example, they can resell artisan production products that are produced around them, for example. Mm-hmm. But this is one example for this hotel. On different company, there is another kind of model. It depends on the company. So it's very designed for specific design for that SMB or that category. Let's call it category of SMB.
Understood. So you guys, depending on the client needs, you kind of design product tailored to their specific industry.
Let's say designed on industry, not on directly on the company, but on the industry of the company. Yes, we do it.
And just to, maybe I missed that, but on the traction side of having kind of the same use case that you've resold over and over again to the same type of a customer, have you guys proved it already, or?
Yeah, we have a couple of customers out in Italy. We have a couple of customers we can provide with case history. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so what are you making on that?
The revenue model is it depends on the solution we design for the customer. Usually we have two types of revenue model. First type is revenue over time. Okay, so we can't ask for to the small company to pay us the full amount. We create a contract that will give us the revenue over the time. So after 1 year, 2 year, on 3 year, you know, because what we do is working together. Okay, we are not delivering a product and forgetting the customer. We work every day side by side with our customers. So this will provide us a continuous working with them and also the stability of revenue. So we can be very we can very sure that he will pay us over the time, because we are the consultant, we are the financial consultant, we are the one that develop the business plan, we are the one that develop the roadmap. So we are if we follow the roadmap, everything will be okay. Okay, so this is the first revenue model. The second revenue model, if the company, for example, are an e-commerce, okay, or are a company that are already have their business based on digital solution, in that way, a lot of our revenue come directly with our consulting, technology consulting services, because all the project, 80% of the project will be based on digital solution, and the small part of it is on financial consulting.
Understood. Understood. No, I think.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. I have a question coming from our viewers. So the question comes to its Prodigy project from Alex Iparo. So the question is the following one: what countries you are targeting right now?
Let me answer. It's simple. Actually, because we are with InnMind, so it's Spanish. So it's Spain, because we are InnMind. Let me say that actually this year, as a company, my target was to enter different European market, but because we win this option, so we are focusing on Spain. We are not thinking about moving this solution to different countries like United States or Russia or any other countries, because I know that that kind of countries are very big and very hard to enter. So we want to move step by step.
Okay, got you. I don't have any other questions, neither does our audience have. So I think that we're good to move on to our third speaker. Sano, thank you very much for your pitch. Thank you very much for your time. Now we are moving to our third speaker, which is Luis Francisco Campos Jafar, the founder of the Aton Technology company from Estonia. Luis, how are you doing?
I am good, thank you. Can you hear me?
Perfectly, loud and clear.
Great. So, leave the rest behind with fiat and instant Bitcoin payments. With our decentralized application, API, and point-of-sale terminal, merchants and users can now make and receive payments effortlessly from anywhere. Aton Technology, established in Estonia, reveals the first decentralized payment gateway, combining hardware as a service and software as a service as high-quality products in partnership with IBM Cloud, hatched by DigitalOcean, Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, among others, as winners of an international startup accelerator in 2019. Now, we are running a seed round campaign to raise 1 million euros for the 10% of equity in order to grow and expand globally. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Luis. That was fast. That was really fast. I think the fastest time recorded up to now. So I'd like to give a virtual mic to Oliver, if that's possible. If you have any questions to Luis, please, you're welcome to ask.
Not any at the moment. I actually spoke to Luis last week, and he was on the last session. So it's I'm currently diving into this deeper. So.
Okay, got you. Thank you very much. Roma, do you have any questions to Luis?
Yeah, so I have a question, because the pitch was actually very concise and very quick now. So I have a question. So in terms of this decentralized payment and hardware software play, you know, what type of actually industries you are targeting is, I was not able to understand if it's your type of solution in industries. Yeah, so can you expand on that?
Yes, of course. So we have three different markets. We have our serviceable available market and our total market, which is based on local merchants and customers using mobile, digital payments, and also physical payments as credit cards and debit cards as well. And we also include contactless payments, which is very important right now in time of COVID-19.
Okay, and in terms of so I think what you're trying to do is sort of you are trying to I think what a lot of, if I'm understanding correctly, what a lot of players try to do is sort of get rid of these MasterCards and everything intermediary players in terms of your hardware technology. So and on all this payment, because all these kind of companies such as Visa and MasterCard and everything has a capacity to have a lot of payments per second. So in terms of the capacity of the payments, how you're tackling this type of problem or solving this problem.
Yes, of course. When talking about fiat payments, we have EuroPay, MasterCard, and Visa certifications for our physical terminal and also for our payment gateway.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roma. I'll pass down the mic to Anton. Anton, do you have any questions?
So what's your distribution strategy? So because there is a lot of competition in general, so how do you outwin them?
Yes, of course. So we study both market, our fiat market and our Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market.
Luis, I think we are missing you for just a couple of seconds. I think that there is a problem with the connection. Can everyone else confirm that you can hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I can hear you.
All right. All right. So with that in mind, I think that the best thing would be to memorize the question, just to write it down, if that we don't just forget it. Whenever Luis comes up alive with a good connection and good visibility, we are able to ask the question one more time. Anton, if that's okay for you. But for now, I think that we can move on to our next speaker. So I'll remember about Luis just to give him some extra time for Anton's question. Anton, please just remember your question. That'll be the most important. And now I'd like you to meet our fourth startup in the list. Her name is Alina Kornienko. She's the founder of the project called Quppy. The project is from Estonia. So Alina, nice to see you here. Glad you are here. Please, the stage, as I can say, it is all yours. So ready whenever you are.
Hello, everyone. And first of all, thank you for inviting us. And our startup is actually called Quppy.
I'm very sorry for that. I will make sure to pronounce it properly. I'll make sure next time. So Alina from Quppy, welcome on stage. Now, did I make it better now?
Yeah, thank you. So Quppy is a digital payment solution that consolidates all of bank cards and accounts. And we've gone further than Google Pay and Apple Pay to develop an AI solution that chooses the right card at the moment of payment. And at this pandemic times, we're closely working on improving and expanding world contactless payment solutions and fast as possible IBAN account contactless opening. So we were founded at 2017 by me and my co-founders who have over 15 years of experience in IT development, in banking and financial world institutions. And after a successful launch and development of a unique payment solution gathering all types of banking operations with both e-money and traditional assets within one decentralized application. We're now launching a revolutionary financial and social solution, not only for bank cards consolidation, but also an AI-based recurrent payments, gift card secondary market, expenses and investment automatization, and also investment planning solution. And since the launch of our app back in 2018, we've gained over such important European and not only European markets as Germany, Italy, UK, Spain, France, Denmark, Norway, and Poland. We're extremely present in Russia and CIS countries, and we're now looking to expand our services to Latin America, Asia, and North America. We're launching our card pre-order campaign this month, and they will be delivered to our European Union citizen customers already by November this year. And so today we have more than 160,000 downloads, more than 1,600 active users, and we've got over 10 million of transaction volume since January and until today this year. And by December 2024, we're focused to reach 72 billion annual transaction volume and over
have to cut you at this moment. Very sorry for that. I feel so bad for doing it, but unfortunately, I have to give a fair time to everyone. Thank you very much. Alina from Quppy, thank you. I got the name right of the project this time. I won't make this mistake again. This time, I'd like to give Roma first microphone to ask the questions in case you have any. So please welcome to do so.
Thank you. Yeah, so I have a question. In terms of, Valina, that you're saying this is AI-driven, so AI-based driven solution to get the right card, while doing the payment. So in terms of that, what type of, let's say, customers you are targeting? Are these are travelers, for example, that operate in different currencies or different, with the different cards, or you're trying to sort of tackle any kind of customers normally operates with credit and debit cards and all these kind of things? So just a little bit to have a deeper dive in type of your solution.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. We're targeting both by December 2024, both banked and unbanked customers. We will be having special cards and special offers and plans for travelers, as you've mentioned. Thank you. But usually we try to bring to our customers a better personal financial banking experience. So, for example, this AI-driven solution, it chooses the right card to at the moment of transaction, whenever you are in your local country, town, or abroad. This means that you don't have to keep in mind on what card, on what account, in what currency, what amount of money you have, what are the referrals, what are the cashbacks, and so on. So this AI solution that we develop analyzes everything, even, for example, the credit score that some of the customers are not really aware of. So it's like making your banking experience easy and as fruitful and profitable for the customer as it might be.
Oh, yeah, that's very interesting. So in terms of you saying, so for example, with all this, let's say, points and loyalty cards and all this, like a lot of the companies are looking for these kind of wallets for, for every currency and get cashbacks and whatever you're saying. So for example, your sort of solution is able to detect on what type of loyalty programs you are and what type of cashback, what type of points you can get, with this card. So.
Yes, but these cards and accounts should be connected to the application. Actually, that's the only thing that the customer should do.
Okay, but then, for example, the card, your set of Quppy card, automatically understands and analyzes sort of that this, for example, this shop or whatever it is a partner with this card, and because, okay.
Or, for example, if there are two cards, the AI solution analyzes on what two cards or accounts with a cashback in this store, for example, it analyzes where, for example, the cashback is bigger or in what institution the person has to upgrade its credit score. So it's really like analyzing all those conditions that a simple user, a simple card holder just can't, analyze at the moment when he or she has to pay fast.
Okay, and just the last question from in terms of the customer experience. So is it just you have to add the card, into your sort of wallet or whatever it is, and pay with that, or you have to manually do something or adjust and enroll, say that you are a member of this loyalty, or whatever card or whatever it is.
No. You just have to connect it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the questions.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, I have to warn Artyom that we are seeing the screen live translation. Thank you very much. Just to stop it. Yeah, I was trying to figure it out already myself, but everything is good now. Thank you very much, Roma. So I'll have to switch to Anton now. God, I so love calling this name. I think that we're a super dynamic duo. Anton, I know you've got some of the questions. Please ask in case you have any.
Sure. Thank you so much. So what is again, like on the monetization strategy, because the interchange fees is obviously kind of powered by other cards. And so is there enough margin for you guys to offset the customer acquisition cost to make it profitable, like acquiring, to make it unit economics profitable here, basically?
Thank you for the question. Yeah, sure, we're already profitable and we will be much more profitable with the new services added. So as we have not only this card consolidation point, but also our own financial services, our own cards, we're adding some of the services like landings, P2P landings for the young customers, or for those like unbanked customers that are really, so it depends on the market. Where some of the products are more interesting for the users or some others. So we try to add as many banking and financial services as possible into one application, so the user does not have to switch between different applications and could do everything with his or her finances fastly from one app.
So are you guys competing basically with like cashback service providers and making like transactions as this, like what's your monetization strategy, and how much do you make per active purchaser a month on average?
We're making now more than 1,000 euro on one active user.
No, but that's volume. Like how much like it's commission wise are you, yes, how much your revenue are you making on that user?
1,000, around 1,000 euro.
Transaction wise or net revenue?
No, it's net revenue.
I didn't understand the business model then. Not sure I like
We're
said.
not only a cashback provider or card consolidator. We have our own financial services also, like exchange services. As I've said, we've started like a full platform for operating with both fiat currencies and digital currencies. So for example, we have cashback, we have revenue on exchange fees, on transaction fees. So people operate with our account opened inside our system, like with a normal IBAN, but an IBAN with extended solutions. I mean, extended services like e-money, like, well, gift card purchase that we're integrating soon. So we're not only a card consolidation, but we're, yeah. So that's why.
And then your gross margin on that, like how much? Because if you are like reselling like gift cards as a merchant of record in a sense, but kind of underlying it, passing it on to the service provider that you are.
That there is not a gross margin, because gift cards is just one part of it. So we're making every service that we're integrating ourselves or that we're integrating with our partners, we try to make it compatible in comparison with other services, like in terms of fees. So we do not exceed fees in comparison with our competitors, for example. But because we have lots of services integrated into one platform, that helps us to be profitable. And we also have solutions for B2B clients. We also have our own acquiring solution for digital merchants and for monetization of in-app resources, for example, for the gaming apps.
Understood. So, but maybe I misunderstood. But your customer, is it a B2B? Is it a business, or is it an individual consumer though?
Both, but I was presenting you the B2C solution, but we also have the B2B.
When you're saying it's 1,000 per consumer, or it's 1,000 per blended basis?
It's an individual. It's an individual.
Wow. Okay. Understood.
Yeah, so just to make clear, I was presenting you the thing we're now working on. So that is under development and that is already making and will make us even more unique on the market.
Okay.
But as I've said, we're operating since 2017 and we're already having a background in the fintech and new banking sphere.
Understood.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Alina, I just have a couple of questions that I'd like to raise from our audience, from our viewers on YouTube. So I never had a chance to thank them, but I'll thank you now, dear YouTube watchers. Thank you so much, dear YouTube viewers. So the following question is the next one. So just a second, very sorry. Here we go. So the question comes from Carola Schmidt. She is asking you, Alina, how do you use AI and what is the next development roadmap? And if you may allow, I'll ask the second question coming from her as well, which I think is interesting. If you partner with neobanks like Zelf, will it speed up the both projects? So these are the two questions.
Thank you for those questions. Well, I will start with the first one. We're using the AI technology as it's a very vast and very, very useful technology for all types, all sectors, economic sectors. Well, it's my personal opinion. So we are adopting it to our fintech and neobanking technology. So we're, I would say, combining, partnering it with other technologies that we already use to make happen these consolidation product that we're working on. And in terms of cooperation, of course, we're for example, we're now partnering with Aave, which is one of the largest P2P lending providers. It's like also a fintech project, and this cooperation really speeds up like the project development and of course sales. And it's also about, I would say, not only cooperation but synergy, because our projects and the other projects, we're making lives of our customers better by enlarging the services that we both can provide together. So
all right. Thank you very much for answering the questions. Thank you very much, Alina. Before we move on to our next speaker, I'd like to rewind a little bit the speech of Louis. And I remember that he was asked the question by Anton, and then the connection just got off. So I'd like to give a chance to Louis one more time just to answer the question that was raised by Anton. Anton, if you don't mind, could you please repeat the question, or at least walk us through on the moment where you stopped with a specific question?
Yeah, my question was on the distribution strategy and the go-to-market, as the competitive landscape is quite strong.
Yes, so my apologies, Mr. Anton, answering your previous question. We are now expanding in 5 countries as Estonia, Italy, Spain, the United States, and also in some countries in Latin America. And we plan to expand in the next 12 months in more than 10 under development and development countries with our products, which can be used by small retailers to large merchants who needs an all-in-one point of sale terminal, and also can be used in electronic commerce.
Understood. And just as a follow-up, so your value proposition versus traditional acquiring merchants, is that lower commission, no commission, or what's the kind of?
Yes, we are working in lower commissions, and we are also incorporating and combining traditional fiat payments, and we are also including instantaneous and anonymous payments in the Bitcoin network, so any merchant can accept fiat and Bitcoin from anywhere.
Understood.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think that I've made a huge mistake when we were talking to Alina, because things got Oliver just reminded me that he was also the one to ask the questions. So Luis, thank you very much for coming back and answering the questions. Alina, I still cannot leave you like this alone. So I'd like you to come back to us and answer the questions that Oliver has. And Oliver, please accept my sincere apologies. It was not intentional that I did not just give you a minute to ask your questions, just simply forgot it. So sorry. The stage is all yours. So go ahead.
No worries, I appreciate it. Yeah, quickly, you said you're partnering with Aave, as in aave.com, right? The decentralized market protocol.
Yes.
If you're doing that, are you going to get around the banking stuff if you're going to offer clients access to lend via yourselves through them? How is that working?
Actually, for now, we do not have a deep integration. We just have a link in the application that makes people pass to the Aave service, and there they decide themselves whether they want to use it or not.
But so that will be your clients using their platform, right?
Yes.
Is there going to be any sort of return from their side that they're going to offer this to their clients, right? Because I mean, obviously their current volume is like 590 million, right? So that's going to significantly expand your growth. Right, okay, thank you.
But we do not have them integrated because we have a decentralized solution, and it is hyper difficult to integrate their service directly into our platform. So
yeah, I presume that. Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Oliver. Thank you very much, Alina. For now, I think that we are good to go to our next speaker. So his name is Lucas Canton Gil. He is from Spain. He's the CEO of the project called Eaglechain. So Lucas, please feel free to start with your pitch whenever you are ready. Very glad to see you, and the time is all yours. Oh, that
hi, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But Lucas has to go, so I'm also co-founder at Eaglechain, and I will be representing our startup today.
Perfect. That is more than perfect. Just please introduce yourself. That's all that we would like to know, and then you can go full throttle with the project pitch.
Perfect. So yeah, I'm Sophia, and I co-founded Eaglechain last year with other 3 co-founders. And so more than 26 million pre-employment verifications are performed by background screening companies every year only in the United States. Every single one of them is done manually, and not even one is reused, even when 30% of the workforce changes jobs every 12 months. It's such a waste of resources for a $7 billion industry, right? Well, there's where Eaglechain comes in. We created a decentralized platform to make background verifications more efficient, saving companies time, reducing their costs, and automating current manual processes. Unlike other companies who only sell data, We will enable as well a marketplace of trusted data for background screening companies to both offer and acquire information in completely transparent transactions utilizing blockchain technology. This will allow them to unlock a new source of revenue and serve their clients better than ever.
Wow, that is fast. that is fast. I didn't even think that would be that fast. Well, that is brilliant. Thank you so much, Sophia. Thank you very much. I'd like to start with Anton. I think that I have a feeling like by the end of this Shark Tank sessions, we're going to turn to be best friends. I'm loving this. I'm just loving this. Loving this. Anton, if you got any questions to Sophia, please feel free to ask whenever you are ready.
So yeah, so
sure.
I mean, in the US, there are a few service providers kind of that do the background check. So, what's different about the product in particularly? Are you integrated with more data sources? That the information stays, it's not erased, or what's different on the product side?
Yeah. So yeah, we are targeting our main clients as background screening companies. And the idea behind our platform is that they can upload on Eaglecheck the verifications that they have to perform manually. So then when they upload these verifications on Eaglecheck, they can reuse them and they can offer them to other background screening companies and receive an income out of it. Also, they can search on Eaglecheck verifications done by other background screening companies and access them in seconds instead of waiting 2 weeks, which is usually the current turnaround time.
Mm-hmm. And is there already like a use case where you saw that one company performed the background check and then others reused it? Or do you have to, is there time before this background check like has the capability to be resold to other vendors in the ecosystem that are doing it on the same person?
Yeah, it happens a lot because right now 30% of the workforce changes careers every 12 months. So it happens that they have to go through a background screening process very frequently. And right now it works that the data vendors sell these data to background screening companies, but only allowed to use it once. They can only use it for their client one time, and this verification has to be, let's say, rebought if the applicant has to go through the process again. So it is a waste of time, of course, because they have to do a verification that has been already done, and they have to purchase it again, also spending more money.
And how do you ensure that because the existing clients that sell the data, they have kind of already solved the chicken and egg problem, and for you, for a company to be working with you, you need to have performed it like on a decent amount of like market segments or customers. So how do you solve this supply issue of people that you can already be starting from day one reselling it, because otherwise there is no competitive edge versus just ordering that from a different vendor, because the price is going to be the same if you do it manually yourself.
Yeah. So right now, background screening companies can upload onto Eaglecheck the verifications that they have done on the previous year. So they can offer it right away to other buyers within the industry. And the prices that they will pay when they want to purchase a verification on Eaglecheck are 25% lower than the prices of the current data providers. So how we get data is background screeners upload the verifications that they have done manually. That is the usual process, let's say. They usually have to, let's say, call a company to verify unemployment history or call a university. So it takes long and they have to do it themselves manually. So when they have done all of this process and they have already collected a lot of this data, they can upload it instantly on our platform and offer it there.
Mm-hmm. And how do you get those like companies that already like have those profiles or background checks on people? Is it like direct sales, or is there a more efficient way to get them on the platform?
Yeah, we are planning on different strategies. We right now use, well, of course, content marketing, direct marketing, and direct sales. And we are planning also on creating a sort of affiliate marketing where experts in the industry and people that have been there for a long time will help us to attract new customers that trust them and that they know. Because the background screening market, especially in the US, is, let's say, a very closed market, and the players who have been there for a long time. So they know and trust each other. So we are planning to use this strategy to attract new customers to input their data into our platform.
Understood.
Okay. Thank you very much, Anton, for your questions. I'll pass down the mic to Oliver. In case you have any questions to Sophia, please feel free to ask.
Yeah. How are you going to compete with the likes of Civic, who basically are already expanding into this area? You know, they now utilizing identity.com and have like 50 plus partnerships across the world and tons of clients. Like they can just sort of take all of your clients in the drop of a hat. How are you going to be better than them and provide better services when they already sort of have this and they're already now expanding outside of this industry to offer additional services for themselves?
For sure. Well, we are planning on utilizing blockchain technology so that background screening companies don't have to lose the ownership of their data, but they can simply offer it in a decentralized platform and obtain revenue out of it. So the model is pretty different because in our model, background screeners will be able to upload their verifications and save time, save costs, and obtain a new source of revenue. So it's a model that currently in the industry doesn't exist. So I think it's different than the model you're mentioning.
Yeah, I mean, but a background screening company, like that's sort of going against the whole sort of decentralization thing, right? If you're having a background screening company that's verifying you, that goes against the decentralized movement of things. Like Civic is, you provide your own information that's then verified to the blockchain, so you can provide it to only people you choose. What's stopping these background companies like from just selling the data? Like they're going to do it regardless. There's nothing in the way to stop them. Like if you already have to get the data verified by them for it to then be decentralized on the blockchain, they will also still have the data on a centralized platform anyway, right?
Yeah, but the idea of Eaglechain is to create a marketplace where they can offer this data. Because currently, let's say that they get manually a verification of an applicant, which is the process that 96% of companies in the US are choosing to do, like hiring a background screening company. They will have to do it manually and they will just keep this data. They are not selling it right now. So they are losing, let's say, a very possible revenue out of selling this data in a safe or transparent manner. So of course, applicants have to give consent at all times, that they can sell the data to whomever they want without the applicant knowing. The applicant will automatically in the platform receive a consent request. So they accept that their verification can be sold or reused. It's for their own benefit because it will reduce the hiring time.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's it from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Oliver. Thank you. Now it's Roma's time to ask questions. Roma, if you have any questions, you have your time now.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I have a couple of questions and maybe they are quite related. So in terms of your solution, you were talking about background screening companies, sort of background checking companies. How do you see your sort of product, in the future compared to a self-sovereign identity sort of movement where, for example, each customer or each individual has its digital identity, sort of ID, whatever you call, and then he or she can share the data freely with other type of businesses or companies or whatever it is. And my second question as well is like, are these type of solutions, for example, not only for, let's say, for financial sector, companies that actually are provided by this type of, let's say, blockchain type of companies, where, because there is a lot of, let's say, onboarding process and giving the credits, there is a lot of background, as you say, checking needed. And, and if you have sort of solution for this financial industry, you don't need a company, third type of party that would do this background check for you. I don't know if you understood my questions.
Well, I am going to answer first your first question of sovereign identity. And that is something that we completely believe in. We believe in sovereign identity, and we started going first towards that path of applicants actually having their own credentials and we started to see, talking to different parties such as universities, students, job applicants, that there were basically no place where they could actually like show their credentials, and that companies right now would just trust them, showing them that, you know. So that's where we started to go towards the current process, which is the background screening industry, and how to automate this process and make it more efficient. And of course, as our product will evolve, we will evolve with how the sovereign identity is growing. And our plan, of course, is that the applicant can also have control of their credentials and be able to access them.
Okay. Okay, understood. And in terms of, so for example, this again, different type of user cases, again, sorry, but that, and this is again, going to the financial sector as well, or, you know, facilitating this onboarding process and knowing your customer, or for example, very big sort of community for, like, you know, for students, as you say, and for employees, and, you know, where you can go in a LinkedIn, and you can see, you know, whatever the, you know, sort of labor experience that you have, but actually you cannot trust LinkedIn. So there are a lot of as well space in this market actually where you can solve this trust issue. So are you're thinking to do it directly with the, so in terms of the customers, not directly with universities, for example, dying with the companies, or in terms of your product selling, how you're thinking sort of, you know, in commercializing the thing in the future?
Yes, sure. We are planning on starting these background companies because they are the ones who hold currently the most amount of data. But we are, of course, planning on also onboarding universities and companies because they will be directly benefiting out of it. They can input their students' data, for example, and their employees' data, and they can also get a revenue out of this each time another company, university uses this data, as well as benefiting from the hiring process where they can cut the time almost from 2 weeks, let's say that it can take a screen, to seconds just searching for a person in the platform.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Right. Thank you very much, Roma, for your questions. I think that it's a good time that we introduce our seventh, I think already, right? So our sixth participant, which is Ramakrishna Rao. He is the founder of Bloqcube, the project from the USA. Rama, glad to see you here. Glad to see you again. How are you doing? And before we start with the main pitch session, as well, answering the question on how are you doing, and then you can start. Perfectly.
Thanks. Thanks. I'm doing great. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Folks, we are basically a health tech company. We did a beta test late December on a diabetes study in India with 150 patients. And we completed our share of that clinical data stuff in 12 days. The medical college basically had planned out 850 patients to be done in 12 months. So with the help of our system, we basically accelerated the trial and cut costs. What we are basically, in a world where there is a gold rush in clinical trials, is selling a smart shovel. Our software is being built based on my 28-year experience in the pharma industry, where I served as a CFO for Novartis Pharma in Canada, Russia, and also headed clinical development finance globally for Novartis Oncology. So there are 4 pain points our value proposition is really targeting. The first pain point is the lack of real-time data. There are siloed systems, data integrity issues. There's also payment delays to patients and physicians. And finally, it's the whole concept of remotely managed trials, you know, which the current pandemic is underscoring. Our value proposition is targeted towards clinical operations folks in the clinical trials industry. We basically have 3 channels: the direct, which is B2B for mid-sized companies, indirect to resellers and white label, and third to organizations like WHO and cancer foundations. This clinical trials, if you save one day, saves $10 million. The CDMS market is a very competitive market, 99% dissatisfaction, $10 billion industry. And we're about to start up a seed round for about $5 to $8 million shortly. Thank you for the time.
Perfect, perfect, Roma. Made it on time, everything looking smooth. So without further ado, Oliver, if you have any questions, please ask.
No, all good for me at the minute. I'll go on the back end if you don't mind. I'm just diving on the internet to look into it more.
Got you. Understood. Roma, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I have a question, because so in terms of and maybe I didn't catch the, in terms of the markets that you are operating now, and for example, the solution they are proposing. So for example, as we know in Spain or in other European countries, so you don't have any type of any system, as you say, very where you can access, those clinical trials. It's very difficult to gather them, and it's very sort of separated and and different and actually isolated in areas, in different areas, in different municipalities, even and clinics. So in terms of this, how you will be able to gather all these data in different countries, because scalability in different markets is very, very different.
Sure. I mean, I'll manage a portfolio of close to just under $1 billion from a finance perspective, and Spain was one of the ones which gave me a lot of pain, let us say, which helped me kind of build the solution. So there are three pieces of innovation that we have built into it. One, which is an iPad-based electronic data capture. Second is a cloud-based solution, so we can distribute it. And third is right deep down the engine, which I normally don't talk to people about, is a blockchain-driven engine. So what really happens is that the data is being captured, is being distributed, and in real time, based on the distributed nodes, is being supervised, governed, checked, etc. And in fact, even the trial that we did in India, there was a 18-kilometer difference between where it was being supervised and where the trial was being conducted, because we went to 150 homes to do the trial. So we changed the model around, where people, instead of coming to a site, now the investigators went to the patient's homes, which is so critical in patient safety today. Does that answer your question, Roma?
Yeah, more or less. So in terms of so who's your data provider? Is your sort of the patient?
Correct. So what happens in clinical trials is there's a very strong protocol that is set up by whoever owns the trial, that is the pharma company or whoever. The patient is the one on whom the trial is conducted, and depending on the complexity. I mean, say short of a super complex one where the person has to come for treatment. Let's say if you're doing a ventilator trial on a pandemic patient, you don't have a choice. But anything in between before that, we are kind of tackling. In technical terms, it's called phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 4. In technical terms, that's what our go-to-market strategy is right now. Yeah.
Okay.
We just say basically making the trials a lot more simpler for patients. And why that's important is we are talking, for example, to a foundation called Rett's syndrome. This is where girls have a chromosomal abnormality and they have a very severe form of autism. And the mothers just can't, mothers or fathers just can't get the children into a clinical trial at a hospital some distance away. So this way, at least the trial can be conducted at the home in the comfort and security of the patient and her caregiver. So that's a pediatric neuro trial or a pediatric patient who will not be able to come to a site also in good times. Just in FYI, only 4 to 8% of cancer patients participate in trials. So there is a great disconnect also as a problem between people who are needed for a trial and people who are basically can participate in a trial. And this afflicts not just Spain, all over the US also, So we are basically, that's part of our go-to-market strategy, US, Canada, Spain, Switzerland, India, and Japan, really as a starting point.
Yeah, and my second question, so in terms of, for example, pharmaceuticals and all these laboratory and all these, so the value proposition in terms of it as well, the sample, the size of the sample and accessibility to, to do the data. And of course, time saving, because if you cut the phases, of course, this is a big money, to save for the pharmacies. Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's a $10 million savings per day if you accelerate a trial. McKinsey has a study that shows it is $190 million NPV savings if you cut back a trial by 18 months. But beyond that, the data and the costs are finally rippling down to the patients. And so if you have a speedier trial, so a patient who's got seriously ill, like it might be a matter of days where the person can survive. And I know that personally, having seen that with some friends. And secondly, it's the cost. For example, in the US, there's a $2.5 million drug that has been approved but had some data integrity issues. So it's a pretty huge problem, you know.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Roma. Thank you, Roma, for your questions. So I think that now it's time for Anton to ask his questions in case he has any. So Anton, please.
I think I mean the data, from what I understand, is kind of like is sitting in different tech silos. So and so what maybe I don't understand it better. So your value proposition versus some companies like, I don't know, Science 37, Medable, Evidation, like what is like, so what is the difference there maybe like versus them?
So there are three things. So one is that Science 37 and Medable is basically working on a patient recording of outcomes on an iPhone. We've got basically a blockchain engine where we want to get the quality right, because once it goes into a blockchain, then it's very difficult to fix it. The second part is that whether it's Medable or Science 37, they're working with a centralized data lake, which is vulnerable to single vector cybersecurity attacks. Because of our distributed node structure, as the trial is taking place, we are having all the nodes updating clinical data simultaneously. So even when the trial is taking place, if tomorrow somebody hacks into the trial, let's say in Mombasa or Madras, the trial is not stopped. It just continues all over the place because of the blockchain engine. That is one of the major areas. But by the way, I see Medable and Science 37 as being our as amongst our key competitors in this whole process.
Understood. And so from the integration layer to the other ecosystem players, like, is that needed, or is that kind of like the data is embedded through the data has to be consented by the person, in a sense, who is entering the trial, like who is pushing it into the
and if you don't mind, let me just complete one more critical part of the previous question, which I forgot. So we've got a patent pending, a provisional patent pending on a very critical part of the module, which is a finance module that integrates into the whole system. Nobody, to the best of my knowledge, has that. That's why we call our system a clinical trial management and financial system. And I learned, and the problem was when I experienced with a Spanish physician, which we have fixed to this process. So that's one more point of differentiation with them. Now, coming to your point about consent, in clinical trial, there is a regulatory process called informed consent, where each patient has to consent to the protocol. And that even applies to Science 37. Where we have created a slight differentiation is we not only identify the identity through an OTP process, we record it in a written form in the blockchain, but unusually compared to others, we've also created a natural language kind of audio module, where whether it is Tamil or Vietnamese or Thai, that can also be said to the patient, so that if they are illiterate, at least they are hear it in the natural language, say yes, and that gets recorded. I don't think any system has that currently, to the best of my knowledge. Does that answer your question, Anton? It was about
and so so in order to kind of distribute it and start collecting like patients' data, how do you get to the vendors?
Okay, so we are technically a vendor of that. So the vendors, what we do is we don't keep the data. We send the data as a CSV file that goes into their statistical systems. So for example, in the India diabetes study, they were running SPSS, and the data every day went into their SPSS system, cleaned, organized, with integrated. So we don't plan to capture the data and keep it with ourselves at this stage.
Understood. And monetization strategy right now, what is it?
Yeah, monetization strategy is basically, I told you about the 3 channels already. So generally speaking, we are coming down to a core licensing and a maintenance fee subsequently if they use our system for that product, basically. And that monetization is driven by the number of trials and the complexity of the trials. Technically, we are like a bespoke system, because what happens in a clinical trial is, depending on the therapeutic area, the science involved, the type of what is called data capture form, they're called case report forms, it can change. So we will modify it based on that. but we're planning initially as an introductory process, a flat fee process. Later on, we plan to do a value sharing because we think we can save up to 20 to 30% of trial costs. And we want to figure out a way in which we can monetize that.
Understood. Understood. Thank you.
Thank you, Anton, for your questions. Oliver, in case you have any questions, can I come back to you right now with them, or shall we just keep?
No, please. I have quite a few actually. Okay, so like generally, clinical trials and clinical research is funded by federal governments, right?
No, that's not correct. Most of the trials are funded by pharma and biotech companies, and maybe a third or 20% is funded by the federal government.
Right. Okay. So,
and by the way, there's also, forgive me for speaking over you, and also there are foundations. Let's say breast cancer foundation like Conan Foundation would do it, or the Obstetrics and Gynecologists Association would fund it, or the Breast Cancer Foundation would fund it, or Bill Gates at the other end. So they're all mixture of it.
Yeah,
it's a $100 billion industry.
Exactly right. So why are they going to want to, when the clinical trial is finished, right? The data that's provided by the general person in the homeowner, for instance, right? That data is then on the blockchain for publicly everybody to see.
No, it's not. We're working with a private permission blockchain, and it will be delivered only to the owners of the trial.
Right. Okay. So if the blockchain is private, like, then the data that sort of goes on that is still held by them. Like if the blockchain is not sort of decentralized and it's private anyway, how can you guarantee that that blockchain cannot be hacked, cannot be changed, right? Because it's public. It's private. Well, it's not a public one.
It's not a public one at all.
I think so that,
I think the
private one. Sorry.
Yeah. So it's based on Hyperledger Fabric. So it's a private permission blockchain. So the only people who can see it are those that the sponsoring company permits to see. And all we do is we link up the data and give it as a stream into their statistical package. So until they put all the data together and submit it to the FDA or EMEA or any agency like that, nobody else can see it.
Okay, but the people that's running the Hyperledger blockchain, they will be able to see that data privately.
I didn't get your question, Oliver. Do you mind repeating it, please?
Yeah, all of the participants in the Hyperledger blockchain, the people that are continuously making that move, they can see that data, right? If it's in the private.
No, not really. Because, you know, clinical trials are also what they call blinded studies and also open label studies. If it's an open label study, then yes, the participants can see it. If it's a blinded study, even the doctors who are doing the study will not be allowed to see it. The only people who can see the data, we have defined it in our structures, is what they call a data safety management board. They're the ones who are kind of like the mini regulators. So let's say there is a serious adverse event, like somebody has a heart attack. They're the guys who can look at it and say, hey, stop the trial. Conversely, if the trial is going very well, they can see the data flowing and say, hey, wait a minute, let's do a complete interim statistical analysis to know whether we should stop the trial, because that's ethically incorrect to continue when the drug is working. So there's only a small select group of physicians who are independently appointed to basically look at the data until the data is quote unquote, what the term we use in trade is unblinded.
Yeah. Okay. I like the idea that, like, I'm very, very interested. The thing I'm trying to get my head around is basically like there is so much money poured into trials from government-funded projects, government-backed projects, or what, like vice versa, especially in the US.
With due respect, that's not accurate based on data. I can send you data offline on the complete spend on that's taking place. The difference is most people think that because of the pandemic, you're seeing $1 billion given to company X, 2 billion there. That is an aberration. The general process is controlled by the NIH, the National Institute of Health, and it's arms of the organization. You know, so it's got the National Cancer Institute, National whatever, Trump.
Yeah, but they are all backed by the government, right? They are all funded by the government.
Absolutely. But as I said, my recollection is correct, it's about 15 to 20%. To give you an example, when I worked at let's say a large pharma company, the amount we spent was even more than what Apple spent in R&D, for instance.
Yeah.
And then you just multiply that by 20, and you might get an idea of how huge private spending is in this whole process.
Yeah, then I'm sort of struggling, like how, like, I like the concept of like the data being with Hyperledger, right? For instance, it's that if some institutions that are funded by government, like, then they can't, how is that data going to go then back to their own private sector? How can they, like, the US government is not going to back a company that's funding trials that the data is then going to the Russian government to produce said product at the end of it that gets resold back to the US. That's where I'm trying to see the
Oliver.
The conflict of interest. You see what I mean? Because the
I
industry is
see.
so big, it's like significant volume.
So let me just split it up first, because and put one more note of clarification, which I normally do in a one-on-one session. If you look at the costs in a clinical trial, there are 4% in patient acquisition and 26% in site management. And then there's a huge chunk in data management. It's just at a high level. What we are doing in our product is we're coming when the patient enters the site and the patient leaves the site. And we're not keeping the data. The data is going to whatever statistical platform that the company owns. This 26% is where we believe, both with blockchain, where we can, and smart contracts, we can automate some of the manual processes, as well as integrate certain solutions like our financial module. And that's why we got a provisional patent around it. Now, coming to your point, so let's say there is company X. If company X, an American company, haven't got funding from, and I've applied for grants, so you've got to do all that paperwork. So if you've done that, then they will expect you to send the data. And we are just like a Uber, which is helping you move from point A to point B. So that data is going into a software data management package owned by that company. And invariably, that has got a lot of controls as it is today because of the FDA regulation. So on purpose, as we are a startup and very focused, we are not entering into that area. All that we are saying is we will give you very clean, efficient data that will go across. Now, you might wonder, why is clean, efficient data a critical thing? As most of you have seen very recently with the hydroxychloroquine study that took place, the studies were retracted by Lancet and New England Journal of Medicine, as well as by the WHO. So imagine building a database when the data itself is corrupted. So we are cautiously optimistic that that is also going to be a critical part of the value proposition. But if the company does not have good controls on the data, then they are accountable, because we're sending all the data cleanly to them. See what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I want to interrupt you. I hate to do it. I think that it will be best if you could continue this conversation privately than just to, confirm in precise, all the information.
I love that. Because we're doing a seed raise, and I'd love to have chats with you, just get advice, thoughts. And as Spain is also part of our go-to-market strategy, there's a lot that I'd love to talk to you. Yeah.
Perfect. Just as a reminder to all of the participants, do not worry, because your profiles will be also sent out to our investors that are today. So don't worry about, if we're Russian or anything. But I will make sure that, everyone gets heard. So thank you, Roma, very much for your time. Thank you very much for your pitch. I'd like to introduce to you another project from US. So the project is called the Finanz. The founder, his name is Aton Technology. So Artyom, thank you very much for coming. The stage is all yours. So ready whenever you are.
Thank you for inviting. And I have 1 hour right now to share my small and short presentation. One moment.
As long as it's less than 2 minutes, you're good to go.
Okay. So can you see the presentation?
Yes, absolutely.
So great, let's start. So I'm Artem, and I'm the founder and CEO of the startup called Finanz AI. So what is Finanz AI? Finanz AI is an online service that does automation of financial reporting and statements for startups, finds mistakes, and offers calculated decision driven by AI. And this solves the problem of super poor financial management of many startups that fail. 70% of them fail from different financial problems, run out of cash, price and cost issues, product without business model, etc. And we offer the decision. We offer two products that save and solve this problem. The first product is financial reporting as a service. It's automation of financial statements as P&L, balance sheet, and cash flow as well as KPIs. And the product gives a chance to startups to save many times, from 10 to 100 times on hiring on financial specialists. And second project is recommendation AI on financial decisions. The product is based on machine learning investment forecast technology and gives a chance to startups to make from 4 to 10 times effective financial decisions. The market is quite big, about $7 billion. 60% is in the US, 22 in Europe, and our unique value proposition is we make financial reporting and recommendations as a service for startups. At the moment, we are on MVP page and on pre-revenue MVP page, and are going to launch our first product next week. Our CC is about $20 and LTV about $600. Our business model is SaaS, and we charge $100 for financial reporting per startup per month, and $500 for recommendation per startup per month. We are interested in this as clients through their startup pool, and interested in safe investments after our product launch and our sales. So that's all. Thank you, and looking forward to answer all your questions.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oliver, do you have any questions?
No. Do you mind if I go on the end again? Sorry, I'm
absolutely no problem. No problem.
Because the time is like 2 minutes, it's easier for me to also look at the website at the same time and dive in further.
Okay, got you. Okay, Roma, do you have any questions from your side?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. In terms of, you are saying that you're solving this kind of problem that I know that I know myself, that's quite a problem for a lot of startups in terms of cash management, you know, sort of cash flow provision, et cetera, these kind of things. And you are saying that this type of, let's say, solutions for this problem is based on artificial intelligence. So how your algorithm works, because there are a lot of different type of hypotheses behind any, you know, any business plan, different type of economic situation, different type of trends in the market, different type of business and pricing, and all this kind of stuff. So how your sort of algorithm could be so accurate, and how you develop it that actually could perform or outperform even the person, or it's just complementary?
Okay, thank you for the question. So, of course, we separate different business model, markets, companies, etc. For example, at the moment, we are focusing only on SaaS business model, and, for example, on marketing companies, marketing startups. And we collect from different sources from these startups, marketing startups, for example, in the US, we collect the data as financial as well as non-financial data, and put it into our machine, learn it, and on this basis, we can later give advices on effective financial decisions. So it will be not all at all. So it will be really focused, super focused on business model, super focused on markets, super focused on geography, and so on.
Okay, so I understood. So for example, you said collecting sort of works like as a, let's say, as an analyst. So you collecting the data information for different types of the startups and doing sort of benchmarking and or any kind of, you know, very similar process, and you say, look, if you end this business within this market, you should be in this and in that type of, let's say, gross margin or cash flow, etc. Is this correct?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And I would expand the example. For example, the company, the startup in marketing or advertising area is growing, it's growing 20% a year. And the market is growing, for example, 50% a year. And we advise with our AI, having the data, all the data from the market, we advise, okay, guys, you are growing, yes, but you are growing too slow. Due to the, in comparison with your competitors, you should drive fast and so on. And also we will give advices on financial data, on as you mentioned, on gross margin, or on operational costs, on for example, research and development costs that other competitors have, on other products that they're starting to sell, and so on. So yes, in general, you understood it right. Yes.
Yeah, and then my question is, again, in terms of data collection, because it's a, you know, a startup is not, you know, even it's very quite, I don't know how it's United States or with whatever, which market you are starting with, but at least in European markets, it's very, very difficult to collect the data, financial data on the startups, depending on the stage. So for example, depending on what type of data you are able to collect, then, for example, your product will be sort of, you know, useful for sort of Series A+ type of companies, but not sort of seed companies, because there is not enough data to collect and not enough data to, you know, for algorithm to learn from. Am I correct? As well, it will be, so whether it will be dedicated to different type of stage of startups as well.
Of course, yeah, of course. They actually focus on the starters from 1 million annual revenue till 100 million. They don't focus on pre-seed startups because they don't have any revenue, any history, and so on. And we help step by step to go to the next stage. For example, from C to A, from A to B, from B to C. And of course, on each stage, the data will be different. Yeah, the data on financials, on non-financial. For example, on non-financial, you need to have necessary amount of customers, of headcount to come to the next stage, and so on. So the data, of course, will be different on each stage, and the system will take it into account and give certain recommendations. So you're right, yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, have to interrupt as well because we're just a little bit short of the time. So just want to speed up the process in order not to make you tired and not make everyone else wait. But I can promise that we are able to continue this chat privately as well with all the you know, the other questions that you may have. And once again, just highlighting the fact that you will be surely and most certainly also your profile will be sent to the investors, so do not worry about this. Anton, do you have any questions to ask Artem?
Yeah, I do. My probably I'd start with for companies that are in SaaS space, there's already quite a lot of vendors that provide the simplistic analytics, such as and do it for free, even like Profitwell and ChartMogul, who charge maybe $25 a month. So I mean, there is no need for like another solution like that. So unclear like your value proposition on the automatic front, and so on the kind of what you mentioned that you guys focus on, you plan to focus on the companies from 1 million to 100 million niche.
Yes.
We have found zero information, financial, like in that space. So the only information available is Facebook likes, number of people on LinkedIn, maybe Crunchbase data and deal room data, and maybe valuation data from PitchBook and alike. So unless a startup is willingly giving you the financial data, I don't understand your data sources. So can you elaborate, like where exactly do you intend to get this information and why companies will be willing to submit it? Because it's one of the most sensitive information out there in the company's life. So and for a company that doesn't even have a product, I'm not sure I understand why they would be willing to give it to you. Probably if we can start with that would be helpful.
Yes, absolutely. Good question, reasonable question. Of course, it's a very complex task to get someone's startup's financial data. But pay attention to our first product that we'll launch next week, financial statements and KPIs automation, so financial reporting automation. We do it for startups to save for them a lot of money. So it's many times that they are saving on hiring of financial specialists or experts many times, not 20 persons, not 30 persons, many 10, 20, 15x, especially in US and Silicon Valley. And we save a lot of money. We provide a good financial statements they can check, and next week we start the process. And we get not only money for the product, but we get also the data, financial and non-financial data that we need. Second one, the source of the data, that not only PitchBook, that we should pay lots of money for subscription. I don't use actually PitchBook. It's actually private connections that I have due to my work in different investment funds previously, and all these two sources at this moment. This is the main sources for data collection, and they allow us to start to build this machine learning investment focus system.
So let me get this straight. So you guys manually for $100 an hour, for $100 a month, will be willing to put together financial reporting for a bunch of startups, and like who's going to do that? Like you guys yourself, and at a cost of $1 per hour, or how does it work?
Yes, we are ready for $100 per month per one startup to do financial statements automation and KPIs dashboard automation. So the startups actually only need to click one button to put some operations that will be also automated in the system, and will get the report in one click, in 1 second.
And you're pulling the data from where? From like QuickBooks and like other systems, or like how do you do
yeah, a good question. So at the moment, at the products that will launch next week, we put the data will be put at startups themselves, and strategically from autumn this year, we'll integrate from all popular systems that startups use for accounting, for example, QuickBook, Xero, etc., or any ERP system like Salesforce, and we'll put the data from this system that completely full automate this process.
Thank you very much for your answer, Anton. Unfortunately, I'll have to cut you off at this point with the questions. Please accept my apologies for that. I'll pass down the mic to Oliver. If you have any questions to Artyom, please.
Yeah. So I have quite a controversial view on Silicon Valley myself, and I know a lot of the funds there. And like you were saying that, so you're going to basically provide this from them on a much cheaper basis so they can then progress through a Series A, a Series B, and a Series C, right?
Actually, from Series C on Silicon Valley measure, yeah.
Okay. So obviously, and I get tons of pitch decks come through my desk all the time, but in Silicon Valley specifically, majority of the VCs control the company and the startup. The startup doesn't actually have much say in what they do, even though they do think they do. The way it's worked in Silicon Valley for many years is the Series A investor comes in and tells the company to grow. It never grows to what they expect. The next pitch deck for the Series B investor, those financials are already inflated because it was designed by the Series A investor to bring in Series B investors so they can get paper profits and raise an additional fund. So if this is focused like solely on Silicon Valley in the US, like I don't see where the sort of clients are going to come from, because the VCs that are invested in the previous round wouldn't want the financial data to be 100% legitimate and by the book, because they can't raise a further round for the company and they can't get paper profits themselves, right? I can't speak for like outside of Silicon Valley, but this has been very common sense in Silicon Valley for like 10, 15 years, right?
So frankly speaking, I didn't completely understood the question. You asked if we are going only focus on Silicon Valley or also on other geographies.
Yes. So you're US based, right? And you mentioned Silicon Valley, right? That's obviously where majority of the world's startups come from.
Yeah. So Silicon Valley and US is a major market. Because of the size, it's clear, but not also we are going to focus on Silicon Valley or US market because of the size, also on Western Europe, because in Western Europe is about the market size is about 22% of the global market, and we have already startups. And actually many startups, especially from Germany, that will start also using the system from the next week. Yes, so yeah, they are also interested, not only in Valley,
Yeah, I mean, my question is more like, how are you going to get the current Silicon Valley startups that are all funded by generally the same VCs, right? They all fund the same stuff, the same Series A. The Series B investors are always the same investors across pretty much the entire board. And the reason the model is ran like that is because the Series A investors want to overinflate things to bring in Series B investors. The B brings in the C so that the Series A fund can raise a larger fund because said startup went on and did a Series B round. The startups in Silicon Valley are controlled by the VCs. The founders don't really have much say in actually what goes on. So how are you going to get the clients from Silicon Valley? Because as a VC myself, and knowing how they run things over there, they just wouldn't want that to be transparent and easily accessible, because it would diminish their overall paper valuation.
Interesting question. Actually, I talked before to many VCs on different rounds from seed to Series F, etc. And there are different points. But one really super important major point that always is, I talk personally, they were super interested in startup effectiveness. That the startup was really effective, and the startup used their money effective, saved and put it into growth and so on, and worked good with statements and so on. So this is the point that combines all this, that they won't have really effective and successful startups. And on this point, actually, I communicate with them, and they take step forward and actually at that moment agreed to help to forward our service to their startups.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think it's a good time to wake everyone up because we're only 3 startups away from finishing this whole crazy journey. I know it's a little bit longer than we have expected, guys. I know, but you know, let's give everyone a fair chance. Let's give everyone their you know, moment to shine. And I just cannot you know, emphasize on how much we'd like to thank our investors, you know, for holding up to this stage, you know, for actually coming up with creative and interesting questions. Personally, from me, from the whole InnMind community, from all the company, thank you very much for your time and patience. So without further ado, let's keep on with our next speaker. So his name is Martin Plume. He is from Estonia. The project is from Estonia, and the project's name is Smart Credit. Martin, great to see you here.
Hey guys, so thank you. So I will wake up now a little bit. So, okay, I'm a co-founder of Smart Credit.io. And my other co-founder is my twin brother. So we are CFAs, chartered financial analysts. We are MBAs. We worked 10 plus years for the Credit Suisse as vice presidents. We know the finance inside out. And we got very early as well with the crypto. So we know the crypto inside out. And our product is a DeFi, decentral finance product. It's a lending, crypto lending product. Now, everyone speaks DeFi now. Okay, just a background. It grows very fast, grows 50% per quarter, not per year, per quarter. And they're lending, there are 2 big solutions, Aave and Compound. But I hope you know them. Now, let me say that's the key challenges there. These products, they focus on the variable rate, on a daily rate. Traditional finance, 95% is non-variable rate. It's a fixed term. That's on what we focus. Exactly, fixed term loans, fixed term rates, DeFi. The other thing is these platforms don't exactly focus on the borrowers. Why? Because the collateralization ratios are so high. You put down 300, 400 to borrow 100. We are doing it much lower. Okay, we are CFAs, so for us it's easy. The next things, the lenders. Actually, on these platforms, you don't earn so much as a lender. Why? Okay, it's a little secret. The spreads are just so high. Okay, and we are doing now exactly these other opposite things. Plus, what we are adding as well as fixed income funds, where the users can define the lenders, the passive income rules. Everything will run in automated, as usual in the DeFi space. And the market entry, this is just integrations with payment engines, with wallets, with marketplaces. So that's Smart Credit.io. So now please ask me some questions.
Brilliant. That was quick and that was just right in time. So everything went great. Thank you, Martin, very much. I'd like to ask Anton if he has any questions to Martin. So please feel free to ask.
What can you define a low collateral?
Okay, now if you're looking, okay, now DeFi is that's not an issue. The collateral is just not an issue in DeFi. It's general in the crypto lending market. The collaterals are pretty high. So if you're looking like in DeFi, so you see 300, 400% of the loan is the collateral. Now the other platforms, the centralized finance systems, they are maybe sometimes using lower, but sometimes as well higher. Now we are going let's say on 150, 180 on this kind of collateral. So practically we are saying this market is driven by the borrower. This market is not driven by the lender. So get what the borrowers need. Yes,
if I understand correctly, so I'm a big Bitcoin holder of, let's say, I don't know, 1 million.
Okay, let's say on Ether, it makes it easier. You have okay, you have WBTC. Yes, you have WBTC, please.
So I am an owner of a million crypto valued assets, and I want to, against that crypto asset, I want to basically put down a house deposit of like a $250,000. So like, how do you make sure that I don't default on that?
Very good. Now, if you're looking at traditional DeFi systems, this is just a one-dimensional risk management. Now, we did in Credit Suisse multiple like risk management systems, and the proper risk management is you need multiple, pretty many like risk elements, like credit risk management elements. Now,
right.
One of them is of course the collateral. And the collateral should not be static. It should be driven by the volatility, like the market volatility. Like the higher volatility means more collateral, the lower volatility, vice versa. It's not so in this market, in the other products. It's rather hard-coded, like hard-coded. That's what we are taking. So the next one is, okay, you have flash crashes, but you don't need to respond to the flash crashes by over-collateralizing and taking every loan as a potential default. Now, you have to do the same what the banks are doing. You need a loss provision fund. So that's what we are doing. So from every loan, we are putting the pieces on the loss provision fund. The next thing is, of course, now DeFi is not doing KYC. But okay, that's another topic. Like actually, it's a regulated business, so we're being too long in a banking. Now, Aave and Compound are actually money market funds which are unregulated. So let's wait till the regulator will realize this. Now, so we're doing as well KYC on the KYC rules. So, and we have as well in the background the legal contracts and the liquidation. So we have multiple steps. So I just explained like 3 steps. Okay.
So how much does it take from the application to the disbursements of real cash? Like I understand that you guys provide
two-click, we call it two-click credit. For the borrower, he submits the request, he transfers the collateral, his loan is there, the fixed income funds are on the other side. Okay, fixed income funds are the aggregates where the lenders put in their funds, that define the rules how to invest. And these are personal fixed income funds. You cannot pool assets like Aave and Compound to it. You get regulatory issues. They don't know it yet. They will know it soon. Now, so the lender has to,
in order to get the cash from the fixed income fund, you need to pass the KYC, right? Because otherwise, how do you?
The KYC rules are okay. These are the standard rules. So, like on the AML, okay, AML rules, the KYC rule, standard banking. Now, okay, we are crypto only. We don't go into the fiat because going to fiat.
You don't go into the fiat.
No, we don't go to fiat because going to fiat will add you some pretty additional regulatory things. Again, on our website, there are a lot of analysis about this. If you are interested to see like what is happening if you are lending fiat against crypto. No, we are doing only crypto against crypto. Like you do it usually in DeFi. But still KYC will be required from certain volume, and AML is of course, like if you're going above 100,000 per month, you are as well AML obliged. So now we have to follow certain regulations.
What's the margin? So what's the margin of you guys?
No, in our case, what we are taking 0.5 fee. Now, if you're looking on this traditional DeFi markets, you see the spreads are pretty high. These are like a 2% or so. These are really like lender is not getting anything. So lender is putting his coins there and gets 0.5. The borrower is paying 3, and someone that's a platform gets then 2.5 between. If you're saying 0.5. 0.5 plus the loss provision fund fee. This is the fee that we are taking. So loss provision fund plus 0.5. So that's how we monetize the system.
And my last question, on this one. So what's the turnover of the duration of the leverage that you guys provide?
Okay, we differentiate exactly from the Aave and Compound, like this DeFi money markets. We don't do any money market loan. Traditional finance, 95% of fixed income is a yield curve. We are CFAs, we focus on a yield curve. We start from 7 days, we go to 180 days. So this is the current
what's the average today?
The average today, we are just launching the product, so it is just switched in. So, okay.
Okay, got it.
So that's
Thank you very much, Anton, for your questions. I'll have to move to Roma in case you have any questions. Please feel free to ask Martin.
We can't hear you.
We cannot hear you. You're on the mute.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. So I just have one question. As it is marketplace and peer-to-peer sort of lending, how are you gonna make sure, you know, in terms of the balance between supply and demand? Because it's, again, you know.
Very good. Okay, let's start from this. Like, how many of you know Bitfinex? Okay, very good. Who were the early users of Bitfinex? So, like, Bitfinex focused on this one. You focus on borrowers. you need to get them borrowers. If you're on the lending market, you need to get the borrowers. You should not focus on the lending. Not the liquidity is the problem. The borrowers are the borrowers, not the problem, the challenge. So you have to create the conditions that you get them borrowers. Liquidity follows the borrowers. On this market, you have factor 2-3 times more liquidity than borrower demand. So that's like this market. So we focus on the borrower, this one side, and the supply follows the borrowers. And the supply we are doing with this, we call it a personal fixed income funds. The lenders are defining the rules. So invest so much on this maturity. It's like a typical fixed income fund will do it, but now we have a personal one. So, and it will rebalance automatically, will do everything automated way, yada, yada, yada. So, and this will supply the liquidity, the lenders. No, but like said, liquidity is usually much higher than the borrowing demand. And it's in this market, the secret is focused on the borrowers, not on the lenders.
Okay, thank you very much.
No, I hope I could explain the insights of crypto a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Roma, very much. Oliver, do you have any questions?
So you said that obviously most current like lending platforms are high collateral, and you're going to be low collateral.
Lower, yes.
Yeah. So 2 weeks ago, Eve launched that they're going to do no collateral loans in the next upgrade and feature. Like, it's surely that just sort of like throws you. How are you gonna, if you're low but they're nothing, like how are you going to compete with that?
Okay, now we're going to very much in detail, which probably only you Oliver and me know on this auditorium. Okay, like in this case, with Aave, the Finnish word Aave is doing it. The lender and borrower, they are doing between them like a peer-to-peer contract, and they are doing then the loans against this peer-to-peer contract. Now, okay, this has to be a legal contract, and we are creating a legal contracts as well on our system now. But this our philosophy is, we are doing credit risk ratings. No, it's not about now creating these legal contracts. You have to combine credit risk rating and legal contracts. Like say, credit risk management has multiple elements. Now, if the users will have low credit risk rating, we are actually unique system in our crypto lending doing credit risk rating. No one else is doing it. If the users will have low credit risk rating, then of course to move to the unsecuritized lending. Now what Aave is proposing, it's just two persons are doing on this DeFi, the agreement in fully DeFi world. Well, it's doable. We think the easier way is to do it via the credit risk ratings and the credit history. So I hope I answered the question. So okay, of course I can discuss with Stani. He has Stani Kulhiko, the man behind Aave, but he has slightly different views. So I mean, let's see.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Martin. Thank you very much for your questions. Let's move to our next startup. It's Natalia Sanabria. She's the founder of the project called ClickLinks from Spain. Natalia, how are you doing? Hope you did not get sleep, but you got all the possible 2 minutes of this world just to talk about your project and pitch it. So the stage is all yours.
Thank you. Just want to thank you for the invitation and the really interesting projects that are on this event. Now I'm just going to say, you don't waste your time watching how people who have an online sales channel grow their business. Don't wait until another lockdown to start. We are ClickLinks, the online platform that allows shops and companies that don't sell online to enjoy full capabilities and own their customer relationship without the need to pay or maintain a website or an online shop. The process is easy. Just register in our platform and create a special offer of your product, information like a really interesting and attractive name, price, images, limit quantities, and the offer end date. And ClickLinks will generate an automatically unique payment link for your product. and instantly that link, it becomes available to be shared through email, social networks, WhatsApp, and start selling in a few minutes and have buyers complete orders in just 2 minutes, sell direct to your audience, and market to them freely. We are ClickLinks, and we want to make the world your store easy, secure, and powerful.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. That was perfect. So now it's time to ask Roma her feedback. Maybe she wants to ask something. So you go first, Roma, if you allow me.
Hi. So I have one question in terms of because you're saying that you sort of the small shops and all these kind of, your potential customers don't need to have this online website. So what type of channels are you using in order to sell your product? So when the customers actually know about this product and how you push this commercially?
Well, okay, we have basically we are contacting them personally right now, because we are now just reaching the local shops in Valencia, because we are like 2 or 3 months project. We are like in our seed process. So now we just want to be like that easy solution for the local shops. For that reason, we are like taking time to educate them in the process to be online, to sell online by our online channel that could be a really easy tool for them. So we are doing that process personally. Also, we are using our website, our social networks, and on LinkedIn, we are reaching like companies that maybe they are like having a website and have products or services that are like sensible for sale, but doesn't have an online shop. So we are also offering our tool. So that's what we are doing right now. And for September, we are planning to launch our big marketing campaign.
Yeah, and in terms of sort of competition, because this type of strategy, let's say, and to put this sort of local small boutique shops online, where I don't remember the company name, but there was one company in USA, and there is one that's called List, I think, but these are for the sort of top tier boutiques, luxury boutiques, and there's Farfetch in Portugal. In Portuguese, they also do this very kind of similar thing. They put all this offline shop boutiques network. They go personally, have account managers, and a huge company, and go and sort of that's how they put them online. So in terms of this, knowing these competitors like List in US and this Farfetch in Europe, are you going to sort of a different type of boutique, not so, let's say, prime, products or luxury products? Or
right now we are like basically defining our best product or client, So right now, like, we are open to see what type of, or just waiting to the market where are going to address are, So at this moment, we are just trying to make it simple and easy, very user friendly, and I think with those advantages we have like very differences from those maybe competitors that we can have. Also, for example, with Facebook or Instagram, they are in USA, they are trying the shops. So it's going to be also easy to add a link in a picture. But okay, you have to know how to do it. You have to have a profile on Facebook. Also, you have to know how to work with Instagram, because it's like we are just addressing in that user experience that we are sure that are going to differentiate us from the other platforms.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I just got myself talking on while being on the mute. That was brilliant, guys. Thank you very much, Natalia. Thank you very much, Roma. The next investor with his questions will be Oliver. Do you have any questions?
No, my main was actually to mention Farfetch as well, but Roma's already done that. So yeah, I'm answered for that one.
Got you. Okay, Anton, do you have any questions for Natalia?
Yeah, I think in majority of the developed e-commerce countries, the merchants, they're required to get the statutory receipt that is kind of dumped into the country. Specifically in Russia, that was with a big e-commerce market, and so there is no gray economy happening when it's kind of peer-to-peer and it's unclear who is the merchant, who's going to supposed to pay tax, etc. So how do you long-term view that trend, and how can you counter? Because basically you have to kind of go through the process of establishing who is the end buyer, who's going to be the merchant of record, etc. If it's kind of one click, it seems kind of if you can without doing any work, just publish and start collecting payments. It seems to. I'm not sure how do you solve regulatory concerns here.
Sorry, but I don't really understand the question.
So, okay, let me rephrase it. So, do you guys, like when you register a company that wants to go online, like what information do you collect and how easy it is to open an account? And they sign anything at start, or you are acting as a merchant of record for them, and who is issuing the receipts?
Okay, right now the process is just you go into our platform and you register as a vendor or as a retailer, and you just have to fill like your company name, logo, contact information, and with that you can like almost have your vendor profile, and from that point you have your dashboard in order that you can see the links that you are creating, or if the reports also, and then we ask also for the billing information when you start to sell, so we can also pay you.
So the bank account is the customer's bank account, or is it your bank account that you are collecting?
Right now, all the process is directly to us, and then I suppose that we have to discount our commission, and then we pay our client.
Who are the merchant of record?
Who are the, sorry?
Merchant of record.
I don't understand.
Who sells the service, right? I mean, if you are collecting the cash,
okay, yeah.
Record, and so
in this case, the vendor is like who is in charge of sale his product or their product. We just added that link to our marketplace, and also we promote it until the end date of the offer, because we are like promoting like that flash sales, So for that reason, we ask for an end date of the offer and a limit quantities. So the vendor is in charge of move the link through their social networks and their contacts on WhatsApp and everything, and then also through our channels, we also promote these links. And when they sell, right now the functionality is that one. It's like all go to our account, and then we split the.
Understood. And what I'm just so like when you're competing with I mean, there are a bunch of platforms, not even like to mention Shopify and others, but for example, like Ecwid, which is a pretty popular already platform where you can relatively easy just embed your PayPal account and actually create a page and like redirect traffic. Here's the product, just buy. So like, how do you differentiate versus them?
Because also our next step is to create our payment gateway in order to we can offer like more attractive prices and different commissions. So that's our next step, and we consider that it's going to be obviously like an advantage and a differentiator from these platforms also. And also we are open to integrate it. We are going to develop like our open API to let it like we can integrate it with another fintechs. So
Understood. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Natalia. Thank you very much, Anton. So we're on our last run, guys. Well done. Well done to all of you. Well done to all of our investors. A full 1,000 respect and admiration to all of you guys for standing here, for being so energetic. So without further ado, allow me to introduce our last but not least startup participant. The project's name is Copyrage. So we've got Aaron Roman and we've got Kanan Chapman. So Aaron is the CEO of the project and Kanan, he's the Chief Business Development Officer. And the project itself is from Estonia, if I'm not mistaken, but I'll just double check it with you and make sure that I get a good, it's Luxembourg. Very sorry for that. So Aaron and Kanan, whoever is speaking, glad to see you guys here.
Thank you so much for having us, Anton, and thanks, Sharks, for being so patient. I can imagine after 2.5 hours of sitting still, it's probably a bit tedious, so I myself turned off my video just so I could quickly move around. So again, as Anton said, my name's Kanan. I'm the Chief Business Officer with Quppy. I'm going to briefly tell you about our company. So Copyrage is an all-in-one platform for crypto trading, sports betting, and stock market investments. We offer a service that's built for new-to-market users and also hobby traders and bettors. These people, they might not understand the finance industry, but they're interested in getting started or increasing their understanding and ability to profit. What we allow is these users to connect with professionals, people who understand the market, how to make a trader bet, and when to exit with profit. And Copyrage offers the opportunity for these new-to-market users and hobby traders and bettors to copy the trades and bets of the professionals. We use blockchain ledgers to store every trade and bet that's made on the platform, and we present this data to our users so that they can make an educated decision on who they'd like to copy. Users can choose a professional on such metrics as profitability, risk, and also size of trade. We're looking for a minimum investment of £10,000 up to an investment of £500,000 in exchange for equity within the company. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kay. That was fast. That was super quick, super lightning speed. So thank you very much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's now time to ask questions. So Anton, how about you? Would you like to start?
I'd like to give this time to Oliver.
Okay, Oliver,
yeah.
how about you?
Okay. Is this Quant Fury, but with additional arms offering betting solutions and significant expansion on trading?
Sorry, Quantry, could you explain
Quant
this?
Fury. Quant Fury is basically a
contrary.
Quant Fury, QUANTFURY. I'm presuming that's your main competitor, which is basically also zero fee trading across stock markets and crypto markets. And this seems like an expansion on that. Two questions. Can I deposit in crypto anonymously? And if so, what crypto do you accept?
So the way in which our platform works is that users come on to the platform and via API keys, they connect with the exchanges that they would like to trade with. So we're launching with crypto, and this is the main market that we enter with. And so users will be able to come on the platform, KYC register, and then via the exchange of their choice, open an account and start trading via that exchange via API key on our platform.
Right, okay. So it has to be fully KYC'd and can't be like anonymous crypto deposit to offer trading.
There's variations of this in which if the exchange offers what's called master sub accounts, in which we are given a master account and then we can then divide those sub accounts to our users. The users can then open that account on our exchange or via our master broker account and then trade on the exchange. So there is that kind of skip of the KYC registration.
Right. Okay. And in terms of, is this just in traditional financial markets? The reason I like Quant Fury is that basically they can keep it anonymous, and then you can trade anything on the New York Stock Exchange, and if something's paying dividends, that's automatically rediverted and paid into your Quant Fury account. Can you still copy that mechanism?
I think our platform actually works different from that. So what we're trying to do is connect social networks with trading and betting networks. So we're kind of moving forward with this social trading movement in which you connect with each other. They can educate themselves, they can learn, they can develop, they can increase their ability, and at the same time, they can connect with these professionals to potentially develop a personal relationship with them. So it's not so much that we're focusing on the anonymous aspect of users coming onto our platform and being able to trade kind of incognito mode. This is a feature of our platform, but not the main unique selling point.
Yeah, but the
unique selling point for us. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So my original deposit amount is always with you guys, right? So even though I'm linking with exchanges of my choice behind the scenes, like I'm actually still trading by your platform, yeah?
No, so we're non-custodial. We don't hold any client funds. All funds are held on the exchange directly of their choosing, of the user's choosing.
Okay, right. So then there's still the part of, if I'm using this on a crypto exchange, I still have the counterparty risk of them being hacked and losing my funds, no matter if I go via you or them, right?
I mean, for any kind of trading exchange, that would be a risk that you run into. Of course, there is kind of hackers, malicious, quote unquote, bad characters, bad actors. So there is always that risk. However, what we try to do is with the blockchain technology that we use, we track all of the bets and trades that are made on the platform so that we have at least some accountability of where the money is going with regards to kind of who was responsible for it, how it was last touched, if it was the exchange, if it was the user. So in some ways we do try to protect that risk, but again, there is always that risk no matter which exchange you trade on.
Okay. And sorry for loads of questions and taking up
no, it's fine.
That's
why we're here. We're happy to answer them.
Can this be implemented with a clearinghouse?
Clearinghouse, maybe.
Basically, obviously, so there's numerous sort of clearinghouses in the crypto industry. I'm an investor in one myself, and it's a non-custodial clearinghouse, right? So your original assets is left with the custodian of your choice, which is fully regulated, insured.
Yeah.
Then via using a clearinghouse or an internal prime broker, you can then trade across all of these exchanges, but your collateral is always stuck with your custodian, be it Fidelity, backed, OSL. So if you're trading on across all of these crypto exchanges and they get hacked, like that's on them. You don't lose your funds, and then you just net settle at the end of the day.
Okay.
Could this be, if you can sort of, because basically a clearinghouse would just be in the middle, and all that is API to your custodian and API to your exchange account. Could you, is it easy for to implement that in the middle, do you think?
To be honest, Oliver, this is something that's been considered within our kind of roadmap and within our framework moving forward. I think this would be an interesting conversation that I would like to take with you further to find out what is actually possible. I think with regards to kind of time restraints and what we're working on today, I can't probably delve into this conversation with the best understanding of how to answer your questions correctly. So again, I'd be more than happy to set up a follow-up call with you and your team to kind of really get into this and figure out what's possible with regards to integration.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. And apologies again to Aton and Roma. I'll let you two fire away.
Don't worry about me. I'm still here. As long as you guys are happy and as long as you are receiving all the necessary answers to your questions, that's all that matters. So
no, it was great. Thank you for your questions, Oliver. I mean, we're here just to answer them anyways. And again, Aton, thanks for putting this all with InnMind in the community. So please, with Aton and also with Roma, I'm happy to answer your questions.
Okay. So our next investor, Oliver, sorry, have you finished with your questions? Or you have
yeah. All good for me. Thank you.
Okay,
I hope to hear from you soon, Oliver.
So with that said, I'd like to ask Roma to refer her questions in case you have any to Kanan. So please feel free to do so.
Hi, Roma.
Okay. Hi. I have just a couple of questions.
Sure.
In terms of your sort of roadmap, and you're starting with the crypto, then going, I suppose, the securities trading, and then sports betting, whatever, as far as understood. So why this type of, sort of roadmap or strategy, or all these verticals that you're using on your platform? Is this any rationale behind that, or any strategy, let's say?
Yeah. For us, the main strategy is really to be an all-in-one platform where for crypto trading, for stock market investments, and for sports betting, that you can come in and do all of those things while learning and bettering yourself on the platform. So with regards to the strategy of this, there are millions of people getting 8-year-old every single day. And what we're hoping for in the end is to teach these people a little bit on financial freedom and actually learning how to do that for themselves. So with regards to our roadmap, I mean, we opened with the crypto market. We then slowly integrate the stock market investments, of course, with every regulatory regulation that we have to go through, as well with sports betting. We understand up front how much legal costs we're incurring, but that's fine. We know that. But in the end, not even in the end, but as we're moving forward, the platform becomes really an education tool where people are able to come into the community, first-time traders, first-time sports bettors, to find a professional, hopefully develop a relationship with these people, and to get that one-on-one kind of coaching and support that's built into our platform that makes them able to make these decisions on their own.
Okay, so yeah, I understand. So I was maybe thinking that because you're tackling the typical user that will be probably, maybe is sort of willing to start crypto then or trading sports, and actually has similar likes for these three type of trading, let's say. And my second question is, and regarding the professionals and this sort of this relationship with the professionals and what they get from this sort of platform, let's say, how actually the business model works here. Do they get something for this, because you have a strategy as a trader, this is your top secret, you don't want to reveal that you're gaining money, so how actually does it work? What type of incentive these professionals have to sort of sharing? Are they on board? Are they getting customers for their company? Are they getting fees or whatever?
No, this sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. No, this is a great question, of course, and the professional is actually one of the pillars of our platform. So we want to make sure that they're really well taken care of throughout this whole process. The initial kind of grab for them is that we offer them in the beginning and throughout the duration of their stay on our platform, revenue sharing options. So with regards to the trades that they put into the market, and then depending on how much a copy trade is made, let's say user A is the professional, user the size and percentage of the win will go directly to the professional. So what they're doing is they're actually monetizing their knowledge. Of course, we've come up to this obstacle before. If a professional develops a strategy, why in the world would they want to share that with someone? Well, that's what we're actually bridging here, which is this social trading movement. We're really getting behind this because I'm sure you've seen on YouTube, sure you've seen on Twitter, seen on Reddit, individuals who are promoting strategies. They're giving indicators, they're giving information to these new to market users, which help them to better understand how they can actually operate within the industry. And so what our platform does is not only is the professional monetizing his knowledge, but he's also able to grow his community within the Copyrage platform. So it's for influencers, it's for professionals, and it's also for these new to market users. So it's a really exciting project, I think, for everyone that's currently on it, because there's just so many avenues that we can go down with regards to the monetization of not only our business partners, with our users, with our pros, with like Visa to crypto credit card companies. There's so many opportunities for us. So it's very exciting is what I'm trying to get at.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Roma, for your questions. So, Aton, do you have any questions?
Well, I'd be keen kind of to understand. So we've seen kind of how Robinhood, like with a zero commission trading, kind of moved into the crypto, and so there is already like social trading platforms, like, I don't know, in Israel there's one like eToro, and there are others, I don't know, Zulu Trade, like, and so why you kind of like think that you can grab the attention span, because you're not first into the market in that sense. So, and the customer acquisition cost is insane. So what is that you know about the go-to-market strategy that others don't? Because I mean, it's very hard to kind of in the world where you cannot even market in Google, like basically the crypto on a mass scale. You'll be able to gather audience.
Okay. Just Aton, so that I understand the question correctly, I think what you're asking me is kind of what is our USP with regards to kind of the competition which is already in the market, and what is our go-to-market strategy with regards to customer acquisition? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So with regards to the USP that we have, I mean, yes, we identify we're not reinventing the wheel. There are already platforms out there. eToro is one of them. Robinhood in America is another one. Zulu Trade, there are competitors on the market. The strategy in which we are taking is to enter the market very slowly. We're not spending a bunch of money on advertising to quote unquote rent users. This is not interesting for us. We are entering the market in the crypto space because we have identified not only is this a high potential quick upscale, but also that these individuals are people that are usually online more often they are outside in the real world. So we're able to host webinars, we're able to host community engagement activities by these individuals and grow relationships with them. Not only that, giving them the opportunity to help the development and the growth of Copyrage. So with regards to user acquisition, there's a psychology component that's going into this, and people they love and they like to feel wanted. This is a human psychological analysis. And so what we're doing is we're catering to that by giving small batches of users kind of exclusive
Kanan, I think we just lost you for a couple of seconds with the connection. So try to maybe reconnect again. I'm not sure whether it was only me who was having this type of connection issues. So guys, if you could please confirm, some of you, that
he's on
the connection and everything is okay.
Kanan is on mute though.
Mute.
Okay.
Oh, my apologies. I'm sorry about that. Aton, can you hear me now?
Yes.
My apologies. Just so I don't give you a kind of a real view, where did I lose you? When was the last sentence you heard from me?
You said about exclusivity giving to the...
Yeah, so just to continue with that. So what we're giving is small batches of users exclusive kind of rights to use the platform first. So they feel that they are actually special within our community, and they are. These are the pillars of our growth within this market. So what we're doing is giving users the opportunity, our product within the communities that they're already connected to. So with regards to the competition that's already out on the market, honestly, we're not too worried about it. With regards to the industry size, which is $1 trillion, we know it's potential for our product to develop. And even if that development goes over 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, we're still being able to generate a profit year on year. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, I'm just trying to listen to you guys, but you guys are launched? Are you intending to launch? Because can I log in and see?
No, So this is another feature in which we are offering. So we're going with a social launch of our platform in the early stages of August, and this will be key access only. You will not be able to access the platform until you get a key from us. And these keys are given as exclusive benefits to the people who are interested in helping us develop the platform.
Understood.
So I'll just use a scenario as to why we've done this. So in the beginning, Gmail actually did this as well. And so Gmail was restricted from the general public. But if you actually were given an account, you were also given 100 invitations, which you could then send to your friends. And this is actually how Gmail started in the very beginning of its development into the market.
Understood. Well, I mean, Google is Google, right? So
sorry, Gmail. I should refrain there. My apologies, Anton, for the confusion.
No, I understand. I'm just saying Google is Google, right? Like exclusivity via Google is like one thing. It's exclusivity via Copyrage is, I don't know, like who knows it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for sure, someone could just look at our platform and think, they don't give me access, that's fine, I leave. And to be honest, that's how we prefer it in the beginning. We're not really looking for people to just kind of one-stop shop. They come in, they set out, they don't ever do anything, they're inactive for their duration, and then they just leave. Of course, in the end, as we're generating users on a monthly basis and we remove this key access, and then we, of course, release it to the general public, it is, of course, then we will have these users.
It's not how eToro or TradingView were launched. Like that's completely opposite. So the whole point of bringing the community together is that there's an aspect where you can look and you can follow and you can build kind of a social network layer on top of it and not be bound by the lack of access to what is happening. But I mean, you
sorry, I'm hearing that you might have another question here. Sorry, I'm just wondering, I don't think I've answered your question correctly. So maybe you could rephrase it.
I mean, there was no question. I'm just saying that, like, looking at some of the other competitors that you named who are in the social trading aspect, such as TradingView, I mean, less in trading aspect, but kind of more of in content, social content trading aspect. And in eToro, how they were launched 10 years ago, that's not the strategy that they used. And it was kind of like more open market. So,
and I think for us, this is one of our USPs, you know, is that we're trying to be as different as possible while also being the only one platform. And it's nice actually that you mentioned TradingView, because we integrate with them directly onto the platform. So users will be able to get all of their market analysis directly in the platform without having to leave. So this is another thing, kind of like Slack, where Slack integrates with multiple, and this is what we are also looking to do, to continuously integrate multiple applications onto our platform to give our users the absolute best experience.
Understood.
Okay. So well done. Well done to everyone, guys. We made it. And I think that, you know, from my overall experience, I've enjoyed crazily. I've had a marvelous experience today listening.
My goodness, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's wrong with my connection. Anton, I'm sorry. Hopefully I answered your questions. Again, if you do have any additional ones, I'd be more than happy to answer them in a private call. Sorry for interrupting you.
No worries about that. No worries about that, Kanan. So thank you to all of our investors. I can't stress enough how grateful we are for your patience, for your dedication, and for the feedback that you were able to provide to our startups. And of course, I would like to thank our startups one more time for their patience, for their participation, and for their innovative ideas, which is something that we're all looking for. And gladly, we will be sharing your profiles with our investors. We will have a list as well with all the all the materials regarding the projects. And last but not least, I'd like to thank all of our community, those who have watched us from the beginning up to this point, and for every single one who's going to watch us after that. Guys, well done. Absolutely fantastic. That was just crazy in a good sense. Not going to take much of your time any longer, because I think that we've had already more than enough. You are the rock stars, in my opinion. So you guys are amazing. Wish you all best of luck. Wish you all a marvelous end of the day. So have all a great night. Have all a good morning wherever you are. Just wish you best of luck and see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good night.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.